In the NBA, one truth remains constant. If something works, you don't mess with it. But for the Dallas Mavericks, that rule was broken in devastating fashion. They had built something special, a team on the verge of greatness. As Western Conference champions, they were knocking on the door of an NBA title, just 3 wins away from glory. They had their franchise cornerstone, his ideal running mate, and a deep supporting cast. It wasn't a matter of if they'd win, it was when. Then, disaster struck.
The Lakers just got Luka Doncic.
No, they didn't.
We traded Anthony Davis.
No, you didn't.
A team poised for greatness suddenly found itself lost. The fan base was left broken, hopeless, and disillusioned.
I've been a Mavs my whole entire life since I've been a baby. This is the worst moment in the history of my life.
But now, Anthony Davis finds himself at the center of it all. The only man who can bring hope back to Dallas. But is he ready for the challenge? The whispers had been growing louder, rumors spreading that he and his team might shut it down for the season, leaving the Mavs to struggle through the rest of the year.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. That's the last time that one game was the last time we've seen Anthony Davis this season.
It seemed like they were doomed to sink deeper into the abyss, but then a lifeline.
To the NBA, where Anthony Davis returns from injury.
Anthony Davis has decided to return. And he's not just coming back to play, he's coming back to send a message and rewrite the story of the Mavericks.
This season is effed. It's over.
This is his chance at redemption. But it's not just about proving his worth. AD's return is about showing the world that the Mavericks made the right decision to trade for him in the first place. Luka was beloved in Dallas, but now the team needs a new face to rally behind. That's where AD comes in. He's playing not just for a playoff spot, but for his legacy in this franchise. A legacy that could be built by leading a team in turmoil to a competitive postseason, where, even if they fall short, they at least fought. For years, Anthony Davis has been one of the most dominant forces in the league. An elite defender, a superstar, an NBA champion. But injuries and setbacks have tarnished his image. Doubts have crept in. Whispers that his prime is over, that he's no longer the same player who once struck fear into opponents.
I call him Anthony Street Clothes Davis because he's always in street clothes.
His exit from the Lakers didn't just feel like a trade. It felt like the closing of a chapter. A former champion, cast aside, left to prove his worth all over again, with a fan base in despair over the trade that led him there. But Davis isn't done, not yet. And this isn't just about him. This is about a franchise clinging to what little hope it has left. A fan base desperate for something, anything, to believe in again. At the time of this recording, the Mavericks are locked in a battle for play-in positioning with the Phoenix Suns, a team that, despite its all-star trio, has been one of the season's biggest disappointments. That leaves the door wide open for Dallas to make a late-season surge, and that's exactly where Anthony Davis comes in. His impact could be the key to a postseason berth. The Mavericks have struggled all season with rebounding and rim protection, 2 areas where AD thrives. His presence immediately addresses these weaknesses, bringing defensive stability and interior dominance. During his last fully healthy stretch, Davis ranked among the league's best in defensive win shares and efficiency metrics. That's exactly the kind of boost this Mavericks squad needs. Anthony Davis isn't just a rim protector, he's a defensive anchor. His shot-blocking ability alters the way teams attack the paint. His agility and length make him one of the most versatile big men in the league. And offensively, he's far more than just a post scorer. He can stretch the floor, attack off the dribble, and punish mismatches with ease. The numbers back it up. When healthy, AD has been averaging 25.7 points, 12.1 rebounds, and 2.2 blocks per game. His defensive presence alone transforms this Mavericks team from an afterthought into a legitimate play-in contender. The question isn't whether he can still be elite. It's whether he can stay on the court long enough to prove it. Mavericks fans have been through it all.
From now on,
Bad
wherever he
trades,
goes, I go.
front office blunders, and an array of injuries. They have every reason to be skeptical. But this is AD's chance to flip the script, to prove he can be the leader Dallas needs. If he can guide this team to the postseason, even without Kyrie Irving, he could completely change the narrative surrounding him and the Mavericks. It's a huge ask, no doubt. But here's the thing. If AD can push Dallas into the playoffs, just barely, that could change the entire outlook of the franchise. It's not about winning a championship this season. It's about showing fans there's a reason to believe in the future. If the Mavs can compete and go toe-to-toe with the best teams in the West, even if they don't make it past the first round, that's a stepping stone. That's the type of mentality that gives hope for a better future, one where the Mavericks can rise again. Every block, every rebound, every clutch bucket Anthony Davis makes after fighting his way back to the court this season is a message to Dallas fans. We are still here. We have something to fight for. This could be a hero's journey, a story of a player who was counted out, brought back, and became the leader this team desperately needed. It's the kind of story that could spark a new era in Dallas, a team no longer haunted by the shadow of Luka, but shaped by the grit and determination of a superstar who wanted to prove everyone wrong. There's no doubt AD is a future Hall of Famer. But how will he be remembered? As one of the most dominant big men of his generation, or as a player whose career was defined by injuries and missed opportunities? That's the battle he faces now. Winning over the fans isn't just about putting up numbers. It's about proving he's invested. Right now, Mavs fans feel let down. But if Davis steps up, embraces the city, and shows his commitment to winning, he could give Dallas something they haven't felt much of since the Luka trade: hope for the future. So while the Mavericks may not have a real shot at a championship this season, AD has a chance to do something just as important. He can save this franchise's future. The hope? It starts with him. And no matter how the season ends, the legacy of this moment will live on, giving fans a reason to believe again. The West is a gauntlet. The Oklahoma City Thunder, Los Angeles Lakers, and Denver Nuggets are legitimate threats. Meanwhile, teams like the Warriors and Timberwolves are clawing for survival. Where do the Mavericks fit into all this? AD's arrival doesn't just impact Dallas, it shakes up the entire playoff race. His presence could alter matchups, disrupt game plans, and create an entirely new dynamic heading into the postseason. If he stays healthy, the Mavericks suddenly become a team no one wants to face in a do-or-die situation. This won't be easy. The play-in games are a war zone. And even if the Mavericks secure a playoff spot, their first-round opponent will be a juggernaut. But this is AD's chance to redefine his career. If he can lead Dallas on an improbable playoff run, he could reshape his entire legacy. Look at Dirk Nowitzki. Before 2011, many doubted whether he could lead a team to a championship. Then, against all odds, he carried an underdog Mavericks squad to one of the most legendary title runs in NBA history. While a championship this season may not be realistic, what if AD is about to have his own defining moment in a Mavs jersey? Can he finally silence the doubters and bring any remnant of credibility back to Nico Harrison? The critics will continue to question him. They'll say he's too injury-prone, too unreliable, too inconsistent. But AD isn't listening. He knows what's at stake. He knows this isn't just another chapter. It's a chance to rewrite this story. Dallas is desperate for something to believe in. And Anthony Davis, he has everything to prove. This isn't about a championship. This is about fighting to stay relevant, about giving Mavericks fans hope for the future. And with AD leading the charge, one thing is clear. The Mavericks aren't going down without a fight. The only question left, can Anthony Davis stay on the court long enough to make it happen? Let me know your thoughts. Is this the beginning of something special, or just another gamble destined to fail?